Welcome to Soul Sync. Welcome to Soul Sync. I just got my eardrums blown out, but it's fine because we have a very special episode today. We have a special guest, Miss Sami. Who is our special guest today?
Today, our special guest is my absolute best friend since freshman year, Miss Madeline Dunn
Oh, wow, what an
here.
intro. Thank you. Full name and everything.
Oh, I know, I mean, shit. I remember like when we literally first met, like all of our teachers used to call her Madeline, and like they would call me Samantha, and it was like, we don't get called that. Like, we only get called that when we're in trouble, you know?
Oh,
It's true. It's true. Only my childhood friends call me Madeline anymore.
Wow. It's a good thing that I fit into that thing. So why don't you go ahead and introduce ourselves a little bit, babe?
Sure. So my name is Madeline. I do prefer Maddie now, however, so
Mhm.
only Sammy can call me Madeline. I'm very excited to be here. I absolutely love podcasts, and I've never been on one, so this is such an honor. And it just happens to be Sami and Taylor's podcast. I guess I'll start with the way that I met Sami and Taylor. I met Sami in high school, so we've been friends for like 11 years, and I met
wow.
Taylor through Sami, and we just had that instant connection as well, so it's very fitting for today's podcast. So I'm so excited to chat a little bit more about close connections and friendships. So, yeah.
I love that. That was a perfect
Thank you.
intro.
No, and you were nervous
Born
for
for this.
what?
You're a natural girl. Where are you going to be next week? Do it again.
I'm
Uh,
dead.
Sadly back home in Connecticut, which is
Yes.
like literally making me so sad. You know when your friends come and then you know that time is dwindling down and you're like, oh
Mhm.
my gosh, like you go home tomorrow, you know?
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
literally just in the car and we were talking about tomorrow. She's like, "No, stop talking about tomorrow." And
She's like, live in the moment. We still have today.
It just like
Aw.
breaks your heart. You're like, ah, I know that's the last hot girl walk or last gym for a little bit, but I'm
Mhm.
blessed because literally she's gonna come back in May, which is fantastic. So it's like, well, just round two in a couple of months.
Mhm.
Oh,
Mhm.
hell yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, May is pretty close.
Yeah,
Ah,
it'll be
Hell
nice and warm.
yeah.
mhm.
Oh. So a good thing to touch on also would be like long distance friendships because all of us are so far away,
So true. So true.
you
And we
know?
still like literally make it work as if we're next door, you know? And I
Mhm.
absolutely love that about our friendship. Cause I know for me, I always wanted like to live all over. Like anywhere that I could live, I want to live there. Like I've just always been such an adventurous heart. So the fact that like we do have such solid friendships where it's like no matter where we are, we'll always come see each other. We're always just like a phone call away. I think it really speaks to like that genuine friendship that a lot of people want to find.
So
100.
true.
Yeah, I remember in
Especially
high school, she always talked about wanting to be like a traveler and everything. And then we went to Cancun one time, and so then she has 5 more trips booked. So, yeah.
that's so Sammy. First of all, yeah, that sounds like her. But that's honestly the best way to do it, I feel like. It's like when you're together the next time, it's like you plan the next time, and
1000%.
then it just never ends. Like, it just keeps going. But it's
Mhm.
like you both put an effort into it, could totally make it work, and you can see each other, like, a couple times a year. I feel like
Mhm.
when we get older, friendships become so, like, long distance, like, more often because everyone's got their own lives, and they're gonna have families and little children. It's like, damn, it's like a whole ass thing to just make a trip to see someone.
Mhm.
But we're still young, so we can still do it,
Oh, yeah.
and, even if you're old, you
You
could do
can
it
do it.
too.
Facts, like, at the end of the day, you're young at heart, baby.
Facts. We don't age discriminate here. Not on purpose, at least.
I'm dead.
So, I'm curious, what makes a solid friendship, do you guys think?
A lot of things, I
Yeah.
guess.
I would say
Mhm.
definitely, like, just going through, like, the bullshit, right? And, like, just, like, overcoming any obstacles that come your way. Because at the end of the day, like there is going to be so many little lessons or so many conversations that you might want to have. I mean, literally, Maddie like had to go through them. Like in high school, there were people literally going up to her being like, "Hey, don't be friends with Sami. Like Sammy's annoying, like talking crap behind my back." And that's how I knew she was so loyal because she still wanted to be my friend anyway, you know? And it was really funny because we just like naturally navigated towards each other. And I think that like when it comes to the solid friendship, it's like always being authentically you. And with the people that were talking those nasty things, like I didn't feel like I could be me, but with her, like I did, you know? And it was like I didn't learn that until much later on when I knew about like friendships and, like self-development and having that like worth and confidence within yourself. But I definitely think like overcoming the obstacles that life is always going to throw at you is a huge point.
For sure. Yeah. And that was a lesson in itself because I was friends with initially with some of the people that were saying, like, oh, like, don't be friends with Sami. And those friendships completely fell through
Mhm.
because they were so shallow. But Sami and I's like, it stayed. And I've learned so much from her over the last 11 years. I actually fully cannot imagine where I would be or who I would be without her. Like, she's taught me so much. So just, allowing yourself to learn from those friendships and be vulnerable is such a huge thing. And I
Mhm.
know a lot of people are not willing to like take advice from friends and really use it. Like they'll be like, "Oh yeah, like thanks, that's great." But like I truly have learned so much from our friendship. So, yeah.
My heart. Oh my gosh. Like,
Oh my
especially when I'm
god,
with both of you, I'm just like, my heart is like, boom, boom.
I know.
Well, also that too, though, you have to. One of the things that you taught me was like, how do you feel when you leave that friendship, like after that hangout? And that goes for all different types of relationships and friendships. Like, you have to figure out what relationships feel good when you depart from that. Like, whether it's your family, your significant other, your friends, like, you always have to make sure that you're feeling energized and just so full of life after. So, yeah.
That is so true. I feel like
Hmm.
I don't think about that enough in my life. Like, okay, how do I feel after being with you and being in your energy for so long? Like, what does it do to me?
Yeah, you don't
Huh.
have to be drained or anything like that. So you can literally just like after you exit a situation, obviously like meeting new people is gonna be scary and sometimes a little bit draining, but like in
Mhm.
general, you're like, like, do I want to know more about this person or do they make me feel like crap? So
Yeah. And like trusting your gut in that way too, like your
mhm.
intuition.
Like that's another key point too, is to like when it comes to a solid friendships, it's knowing that not every friendship is going to last forever. Like there's definitely, especially moving to a new place, and I feel like Taylor, you can definitely attest to this because you've lived in so many different states. But it's like you're gonna meet some people that you think you might be friends with, and then you're just like, you know what? I'm not sure I have that much in common with you. Like, I'm not
Mhm.
sure that like I actually want to keep pursuing this. And that's okay. And I think that's how you truly find those solid friendships because you keep going back to, like Maddie said, the people that make you feel good? So it's like not having that like guilt or shame about having that kind of self-worth and being like, no, like this is my standard for friendships and the people that I want in my life. And if I don't feel that way about you, like it's okay that you don't spend all your time with that person. Like you don't need to, you
Mhm.
don't owe them anything.
I feel like in our 20s, something that's really hard to learn is that you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And like vice versa, they're also not going to be your cup of tea. So you have to be like, okay, that's fine. Even though we work together like most days of the week, we don't have to be best friends. You can be friends
Mhm.
and be friendly, but like really spending time with the right people is so important and just making sure that that energy is there. And yeah, just, I don't know, learning how to set boundaries and find the important things in friendships.
Girl, why are you so good at this? Shit.
I spent a lot of time listening to podcasts, so we're trying to bring out all the stops.
I love it. Do you have a favorite podcast that you're listening to right now?
Ooh, okay. Sidetrack, I guess, a little recommendation corner. I really like The Diary of a CEO. I love anything
Ooh.
Huberman Lab. And Ladies and Tangents. Yeah, they're all very.
Ooh, I gotta try those.
Oh, also For You from Eve.
What is that?
She's like you guys would actually probably like her. So I'm gonna shout her out. Maybe we can tag her, get some recognition.
Hi.
But she is like a health and wellness like mindset podcast as well. So I literally listen to her on my hot girl walks and everything when I go running, all of that. So she's very inspirational. I love her podcast. So
Oh my God, I love that so much. You forgot to mention ours.
well, this one too, obviously. Y'all better listen, stay loyal.
He said, and number one.
Best for
But
last.
That was a good save. That was a good
Mhm.
save. Especially because at some point we're gonna be like, okay, Maddie, like, would you recommend us? Like, what do you
Duh.
think?
Duh.
what would you say on other people's podcasts about us? That's what matters.
Oh, I'm dead. Thank you.
So then that piggybacks off of like what qualities do you look for in a friend?
Who wants to go for this one? Taylor, I feel like you should tell us about this one, especially because like we're both here. So tell us what qualities you look for.
What do you love about us? Shit. The qualities I look for definitely like trustworthy, and I'm really big on like if I feel safe around someone. And like if my nervous system is like at ease around you and I could just like exist and I don't have to be like thinking too much, I guess, if that makes any sense. Like I love those friendships where you kinda can just, like, do your own thing, but you're still in the
Mhm.
same room together, or, like, you're still in each other's energy, and it just feels so comforting because it's like, there's no pressure to, like, say
Mhm.
anything or whatever. And I don't know if that just comes with time, but I feel like there are certain people that you can do that with, and you're so, like, comfy cozy in their energy. So I look for people that relax my nervous system is, like, number 1. Um, yeah, if I trust you, like, as a best friend or just a friend in general, I'm gonna be, like, telling you so much, like, looking for your advice and your input on things, like, I don't wanna be steered in the wrong direction, you know? Like
Yeah, you gotta make sure those values align, and that takes
yeah,
that. I feel like you'll have that instant like, "Ooh, do we kind of have the same vibe?" But then
Mhm.
you really have to spend time getting to know that person and be like, "Ooh, do our morals align? Do our values align?" Because if
yeah,
you're going to be giving each other advice, then and taking each other's advice, then you better make sure that you're listening to the right person. So, agree.
exactly. Oh my god, especially if they're moving from, like, the friend acquaintance stage to, like, a best friend, like, someone really
Mhm.
close, and it's just like, you wanna grow closer, you wanna agree, and, like, morals are huge in any relationship, but I feel like especially a friendship because 'cause you're growing together,
Mhm.
and if you're doing it for the wrong reasons or it's just, like, not good, if we're going out drinking every night and no one's telling me like, "Hey, Taylor, you need to slow your damn roll, okay? You've been hungover for the last week and a half, you sleep all day, you've been eating Taco Bell for
I'm
the
d-
last 4 nights."
I hope
So,
this
someone
hasn't
who
been your
opens
week.
I know. Taylor, do you need to tell us something? But I totally agree with like the fact that like your core people have to match your values and they have to be in that kind of alignment, you know? Because I know for me, like, especially with you two and being like in the same room when I am, it's like just so beautiful. And I feel like so grateful and so warm on the inside, my heart just like tingles. But it's because it's like we were never gone, you literally like come back and it's like you're just reigniting that friendship no matter how long it has been since you've seen them, it's like, like, welcome home. Like, I just missed you
Mhm.
so much. And that's how I feel like with both of you guys, and I think it's important to make sure that you're finding those kind of connections and make sure that you're watering them as opposed to those people that maybe don't make you feel as in alignment. So I think that's definitely like the number one quality for me is making sure that no matter how much time has passed, like we can just get right back into it, Cause like y'all said, I have a busy ass life. So we need those understanding friendships where it's like, hi girl, I haven't talked to you in a couple days, but I'm thinking about you. I hope you're doing amazing. And you're just able to pick up off of that, as opposed to like in the past, I've had friendships where it was like, oh my God, you haven't talked to me for a couple of days. Like, what? Did you break up with me? Are you cheating on me? And it's just like, you're not my man. Okay.
I
I have one of
literally
those.
have people in my head where I'm like, "Yep."
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, it's like we can all think of those certain
Yeah.
people in our lives that are just like, but it makes it more stressful to call them and to reach
Yeah.
out almost, like, it does the total opposite, and it's so funny that we're having this conversation because I literally just got off the phone with my mom, and she's like, "Every all my friends are mad at me because they don't understand that, like, I can't call them all the time and whatever," and I'm like, "Well, my friends understand." Like, when I can't talk, which is a lot, it's
Yeah.
just, like, nothing personal. It's just, like, you know that person enough to be like, "Oh, they're just being to themselves because that's what they do," and they
Yeah.
don't take it in any, like, bad way or anything like that, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like
definitely.
sometimes there's nothing you could do, and me and Sammy, like, whenever we text and stuff like that, and sometimes we won't answer each other for, like, hours, like, sometimes
Mhm.
it could be, like, a day or 2, but it's like, you have that mutual understanding of, like, "Okay, this is life."
Yeah.
There's
Mhm.
other shit going on. As long as you're okay,
Mhm.
and you still love me at the end of the day, then we're good.
Mhm.
That's
1000%. Yeah. And one thing that like I think helps us, and I know you guys do it too, we always send audio messages back and
Mhm.
forth. So Sam was saying like making sure you're watering those friendships that do like have those qualities that you can always come back to, like sending audio, sending little things that are like, hey, I was just thinking of you. It
Mhm.
really can, you never know what's like going on in that specific day. Like if we haven't talked in a couple days, like Sammy and I will like message a lot on like a Sunday and then suddenly it's Friday and I'm like, wow, I haven't talked to you all week, but I finally listened to your audio and this is like exactly what I needed. We are always on the
Mhm.
same wave. So, yeah, just doing little things like sending a photo or something, be like, oh, this made me think of you,
Mhm.
like, and stuff
cool.
like that.
And it's so simple too. Like, it can be just a simple thing. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, you know? Be
Yeah.
like, I'm still here. I'm still your friend."
It's also just that thought, like that actually made me think of like one of my clients. Like she had messaged me and she was like, Sammy, I saw 444 and I immediately thought of you. And it's just
Oh.
nice that like when people share the positive impact that you're making in their lives, it makes you want to keep doing that, right? Like I know I got that message and I was like, oh my God, like that makes me so happy. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go do this. And I like went for a walk, or whatever it was that I wanted to do. But I feel like those are the friendships that you want to focus on. Is like, are you getting that positive reinforcement that we're always talking about? Like, are you getting those positive vibes or are you kind of getting put down? Because I think that like there's a lot of friendships, at least that I've been in, where it was like, what was looked at as like positive criticism or reinforcement was really like them just trying to dim my light so they could like feel better and feel like they had more control. And I think that like one thing that's really important in building a deeper connection is knowing that like you guys have equal respect for each other and you have like
Mhm.
equal understanding, compassion, love. Like there is no one on top of the other. There's like, we're going to support each other fully and wholeheartedly, and we're equals. And I think that is like the most important thing because, especially in a society as women, like we are always being told to compare and, like try to like be and compete. And it's just like, no, no, like why don't we just support, like women
Mhm.
support other women. That's what we want to be doing. And that's what I want in my life.
That's the biggest green flag ever in a friendship. Is a girl that's, like, a girl's girl,
Mhm.
and they just support you, and there's no, like, competition at all. That's just it's not, like, rare. I feel like more people are starting to, like, see from that point of view now and kinda be like, "Okay, why am I comparing myself?" Like, "Why can't we all just win?" Why can we all hype each other up? Especially, like, the social media era, because we live in such a, like, crazy comparison world, especially girls, like, guys go through it too, but it's cutthroat out there. So it's like your group of friends, especially your core friends, they have to bring you back down to earth also and be like, "Girl, it's not supposed to be like that. We got your back, and we wanna see you shine." You guys are just great supporters in that way. Anyone that hypes you up is a friend of mine. Hit me up once and
Authentically, though.
green flags.
So I feel like a really good communicator is a key flag in a relationship or like friendship. And one thing that I love, because I like getting feedback from my friends, like literally
Mhm.
like a couple of my posts I've given to Maddie and I'm like, hey, like this is what I want to put out there. Like, will you just read it over for me? And I think being able to like trust your friendships with your manifestations and like with your desires is so freaking important. Like especially your core three, because I know for me, like I can come to you ladies and be like, hey, like I'm gonna make $10,000 this month. And you're like, yes, you fucking are. And
Mhm.
like, like when I go ahead or like have this crazy ass goal where I'm like, hey, I'm gonna do this. You're like, yep, yeah, you are. Yeah, you are, and like there's no, well, reality and rational thinking. It's like, no, you say you're going to do something. I fully believe and support that you are going to do something, So I think it's the way that like you communicate and you really like show those words and like those actions every single day, in every way. And I know that like a lot of us don't have that. Like we might go to people about things that we want to do and we might get the opposite approach, we might get the opposite response.
Mhm.
Yeah, something on that too, though, like with people's response, sometimes people will give advice on something that you didn't even ask for, you know? So, something that Sammy taught me was like, hey, I'm coming to you for support, and which we always will support her, which is a key component of friendship, but also just, hey, I'm coming to you for support. Like, I don't need advice right now. I just need to vent. So, she really taught me like asking people, like, hey, can I give you some advice right now? And like respecting people's boundaries. Like sometimes I think in friendships, we just assume that because we're friends, like, oh yeah, we can just like give advice whenever. But that's not the case. Like friendships are so like a relationship and you need to respect those boundaries and ask like, do you want advice? Or am I here to just support and listen?
Mm-hmm.
So,
I like that.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that.
I feel like I don't do that enough. Shit.
And it works in relationships really well too. So,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Yeah. Communication. Even just something as small as that, you know what I mean? To be like, "Do you want my advice or no?" Like, can change the whole energy of the conversation and
Mhm.
the outcome of it.
People just want to vent,
Yeah.
man. And
Yeah.
sometimes they just need someone to be like, "It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for you to support you and that's it. And you're valid."
Mhm. Green flags
Yes.
everywhere.
Oh.
So, what tips would you give someone that wants to find, like, deeper connections in friendships?
Ooh, I feel like this is such a good one. So I would definitely say like start off being authentically you. Like I think that was a major mistake I've made for like so much of my life was I tried to be what everyone else wanted me to be or what I thought they wanted me to be. And then they didn't really like me, and I understand because that's like annoying, like who wants to like be pretending all the time? I know I didn't, So I think being fully authentically you, because that gives other people in your life a chance to actually like you and a chance to actually build that connection with who you truly are, So like really stand by like the things that you enjoy doing or, go to the places that you like to go to. Like I know I made so many friends at the gym, or even just complimenting girl. That's something I love to do. Is like, hey, love your hair today. Or I think your leggings are fucking awesome, and you never know what's going to come of that. But I really enjoy hyping women up. Like I enjoy making people feel good. So I think just being 100% authentically you is going to draw in more friendships and more opportunities because then people like actually get to see you for who you are.
I love that. What made me think of, for whatever reason, drunk girls in bathrooms. Like, when you're at, like, a club or a bar and you go in the bathroom, the girls are, like, lit, and they just all compliment each other, and they're like, "Girl, like, dump his ass. You are too good for him. Look at how bad you are. You are so hot. Like, he doesn't even deserve" like, that energy, but, like, in a sober setting or anywhere else. Oh my god, those are the best types of girls and best types of friends to have because they are being authentic, it's not fake.
Yeah.
You're not just complimenting their leggings or whatever to, like, get something out of it. You just like, "Hey, listen, like, sick leggings. I hope it
Mhm.
makes your day." That is super authentic and it's super just, like, genuine, and people feel that. You could feel a huge difference between that.
100%.
Yeah.
Mhm.
On the topic of like, I guess drinking and everything, something that I know a lot of people probably struggle with is like the pressure, peer pressure of drinking to fit in.
Mhm.
Newsflash, you don't have to drink to find friends. Okay? It is really, listen, it takes some time, but good things, they take time.
Mhm.
And build those connections, go on coffee dates, go get a smoothie, like I think also now it's becoming more normalized to not drink, and now we have Poppy and Olipop and mocktails, so, like, if
Mhm.
you're not comfortable with getting obliterated every weekend for that group of friends, don't do it, and if they don't accept you, that's fine, you can go make some better friendships, you know? So, yeah, that's something that I really learned when I was 21, 22. Like, I had left a group and never looked back, and it was fantastic because that's when Sammy and I reconnected too, because we had a little moment. We had a moment in our friendship where we weren't talking. There was no bad blood. We just
Mhm.
were doing our own things. And of course, like we were both like on our drinking journeys in separate ways. And we came back together when we both just like stopped and
Mhm.
started focusing more on health and fitness and got out of toxic relationships and into better ones. So it's interesting when you start to find all those like good-natured things in life, the people that you'll find.
That is so true. I feel like it's so easy and so common to connect with people at bars and just be like, "Let's go get a drink," or like, like every weekend, that's such a big social setting that everyone just like instantly goes to. But I don't know if it's just getting older type thing where you realize, like, this doesn't really align with what I want to do and, like, with my life anymore, and it does, it's, like, intimidating because it's like, how am I gonna meet people? And, like, how am I gonna socialize and whatever, but it's so much better to find healthy settings and people that are in the same mindset instead of pretending also, like
Mhm.
there's nothing more uncomfortable than, like, being out at a place that doesn't resonate with you and just sucking it up for someone else, you know what I mean?
There are still times where I'm, like, in a social setting where I'm like, "I could really use a drink right now," and maybe I will have one, maybe I'll have a glass of wine or 2, just if it's, like, a really big social setting, like, for my job, sometimes we have happy hours, and I'm like, "I'm gonna have a drink or 2 because this is so many people,"
That is okay.
but and that's okay, like, if you
Mhm.
need a little bit of help, I still struggle. It's okay. It's like social settings can be hard, so don't be hard on yourself. Just like find that balance and know that you don't have to go overboard every weekend when you don't want to. So there are
So
people
true.
on your wave, I promise.
But I think that's so important, because it's like finding that common ground and like finding those people that like actually like what you like, right? Like finding that common interest. And I think one thing that like we're kind of really picking up on here is it's like there's so many different things that you can do. So if you're looking to like make deeper connections, like go to those places, right? If you enjoy, let's say it's pickleball, we're down south, so that's a really big thing here, But let's say it's pickleball, go play some pickleball. Or maybe you used to play soccer in high school and it's like go to a field and just kick around a ball, Or maybe you want to be bougie and you want to go have a picnic. Like there's so many different things that you can do, or just places you can go to. Like I know for me, I love going to a coffee shop and I meet amazing people in coffee shops. Okay. I don't know what it is about the vibe, but I always meet some hot aesthetic girly that I can vibe with and be like, hey, I like your outfit, which we clearly said is something that Sammy likes to do. But like, make sure that you're surrounding yourself with places that you actually enjoy going to so that you can find those right people. I think that's so important.
I love the idea of saying that because I feel like you're manifesting friends at coffee shops every time you go to one. Because 'cause you're saying in your head, like, "I always meet, like, the coolest girls. I always meet, like, my next best friend at coffee shops." Like, the more you say it every time you go, it's just kind of, like, attracted to you. So it's a good idea.
Ooh, affirmations, baby.
Yeah. I might steal that one from you.
Please do. And this can go anywhere, especially for like my gym girlies. Like I manifest a best friend every time I go to the gym. Like
Mhm.
I think we need to get more comfortable with talking to strangers. That's like another amazing tip is it's like I know for me when it came to other people, I would have them on such a pedestal. So it'd be like, oh my God, like that girl's pretty. Like, but you might see them and there might be so many things you like about them, which is like a key sign, like, hey, they might align with you. Like that might be
Mhm.
a friend if you have that much in common. But I know for me, I would always be like, oh, well, they probably wouldn't even want to be my friend. So I was like so against talking to new people. But it wasn't until I started serving actually and got into the restaurant industry where you literally had to talk to people all day, every day, that I was like, wait, I can approach strangers. And I think getting over that fear and out of my bubble really helped a lot too, because then you're just having more opportunity to meet more amazing people.
Shit.
Like you, Taylor. Oh my God. We literally met serving.
Yeah, oh my god, and you held this big ass like raw lobster or whatever up in the air, and I was like, "This bitch is crazy."
Meet cute.
I ran so fast in the other direction, but we still have a picture of both of us in our uniform, and Sammy's just holding up this lobster, and I'm looking at her like but, great memories there,
We're
and I
gonna have
totally
to like post that for you guys just so you can see.
I have proof. Photo proof.
So, the final point that I feel like we should definitely touch on is the fact of being grateful for those friendships that you already have. Because sitting here and just reminiscing about like me holding that big slimy lobster, like it just it cracks me up so much. And I had no idea, like 4 years later, this is where we would be. And I feel like being grateful for the friendships you have right now and being able to find that gratitude, you're just putting yourself in the energy to find more like that, you know? And we all know that where focus goes, energy flows. So we want to make sure that we're focusing on what we do want, especially in terms of our relationships, our friendships, and the energy that we want around us. Because, like Taylor said in another episode, we are the top 5 people that we hang around, right? So it's like, those includes your friendships. Those includes your most like number one deepest friendship connection. So I feel like, we all have that girl, okay? We all have that one where like, oh yeah, that's my bitch, okay? Like even if you just write down a list, right? Make sure you know what qualities about that person you actually like and you actually desire so that you can find those in other people too. I feel like that was definitely one of the like number one things I did because I'm gonna be straight up. Like I remember when I was looking for friends before I met you, Taylor, I'd be like, okay, like who's like Maddie, you know? Like I would just think about like people I genuinely was like, oh, like I have a good connection with her. We have a lot in common. We're able to talk about things just in a safe environment. And I thought about all of those different things. And then boom, you and Jasmine came in 2020. So here we are now, you know? But I really use that now. And even here in South Carolina, it's like I am so nitpicky about the people I hang out with here. I'm like, okay, how do they make me feel? And it's not that I'm like actively comparing them to you guys, but quality wise, characteristic wise, yeah, like I kind of am because I want to make sure that they are in that alignment with me.
Mhm. I couldn't agree more. I also kind of love the idea of like being the friend that you want to attract and you want to manifest. Like if you want someone that's like loving and just so understanding and patient, like be that for someone, like be that for the world and just offer that to people and you will attract like-minded people and you will attract only good things from that. So it's like spread love regardless and you'll always find the right people and they will always find you. So,
That is the best way we could have ended this podcast is with that statement, Taylor. It was so beautiful. Oh my
oh my god,
God.
thank you. It came from my heart.
My first thing in this wrap up is thank you so much for having me. Absolutely honored. This has been such a good conversation. This truly is like one of those conversations you have with your best friend when you're just like we were driving in the car today, Sammy and I, and we were just chatting like deep conversations, not having just surface level connections is something so important in life. So thank you for having me. And I hope everyone enjoyed. And yeah,
Where can they find you?
mostly Instagram, I suppose. It would just be at Maddie_Dunn with an extra N.
You heard it here first, folks. Well, that is all the time we have for today. Where can they find us, Miss Sammy?
Oh yeah, y'all already know Sammy Roos, RUESS_ baby, Instagram. I use other platforms, but shit, you ain't gonna get an answer from that, okay? Instagram is my go-to.
She said, but shit, we ain't got time for that.
I just don't understand TikTok. Like, I don't get the hype about it. It's very confusing to me. So
That's fair. Honestly, I only scroll on it. I can't make stuff on it anymore. It's too hard. But you can find me on at Taylor Bavel, BAVL, at Instagram.com. That was a whip in case anyone couldn't see it. Yeah, and then follow our Soul Sync account on all the platforms. We got so much going on. Everything's all linked together. Just take a good old look at our show notes
Mhm.
and you can find everything around there.
Woo!
So
With that being
until next time, bye. Shit, I don't know what else to say.
I'm gonna see my face. I just feel like you could have said anything like, have a wonderful day, have a wonderful evening. Bye.
I feel like I was dragging it on for so long.
Bye. Have a good night, everyone, wherever you are. We're sending you so much love and light. And until the next episode, bye.